Alright, looks like we are living, or some might say, live. Me two shakes. Gotta double check the monitor. Should have had this pulled up. But we're still learning how to do this. So I forgive me. Hopefully you will too. It's funny because my last one, I notice I keep like looking up at it. Part of it's checking the monitor, but part of it's just like addressing the camera. I don't know if I'm into that. Channel. Anyway, we're pulling this up because I need to know. Well, it's showing that it's very not right. It is showing that this is wrong. Curious, curious. It showed that it was wrong last time too, though. I guess theoretically I could shift it later. I want to reload this one time. And then we're going to be done with the pre-show. We're going to jump right in. This is sideways still. Doesn't appear to be much I can do about that. So, anyway. Let's start the show. Amps. I like having the intro music. I think it gives it quite a friendly vibe. Today we're going to be checking out Ryan Long, I believe his name is. I think he's a Canadian, but per usual we will get into who he is. So if you Google who is Ryan Long comedian, it says Ryan Long is a Canadian-born comedian, which does score him points in this household, and filmmaker. He's based in New York City. Ever heard of it? He's widely known for his viral comedy sketches and street interviews that have amassed over 1 billion views online. Mio, so good. So, I do actually follow him on YouTube. I'm a subscriber, and I've seen some of his shorts, and some of them have made me chuckle. More than one of them has made me chuckle. Some of them are also unbelievably cringe, which leads us to his IMDb, which says that he was born in Toronto in '85, which makes him like 4 years older than me, give or take. Just, you know, it's a good era for comedian right now, at least for me as a kind of an aging millennial. Ooh, we have a quote from him right here. Now prepare yourselves. To be a comedy person, in life and in career, you essentially have to give up the idea that you matter. It's really wise words from our Torontonian. Let's see his filmography. It's an industry term. Holy shit. What is this for? So, he has this show called Crown the Town, I think is what that says. Crown the Town. And Crown the Town has 18 10-star ratings. 10 stars, that's not bad, right? 18 of them, all right, it's more than I would get probably. 2 people gave it a 7. 15 people gave it a 3. And 101 people gave it a single star. A single star, which leads to an IMDb rating for Crown the Town at 1.6 stars, 176 reviews. Now, I haven't seen this show, but I may have to check it out because that sounds awesome. So, without further ado, now we have an idea of who we are going to be watching the special of. Let's go ahead, pull up the video here. There's 1.3 million views. It came out 1 year ago. So October 9th of 2024. So I wonder if we're going to get some election stuff, because it means it was probably filmed, excuse me, August or September-ish. Excuse me. So I'm wondering, I've not seen next to anything that he's done. I've seen him on Story Wars, which is a Gas Digital joint. He was fine. I think literally that was why I chose him, because it was just like, oh no, he did Kill Tony a few weeks back. Pretty sure that's why it came up. In any case, let's jump into his special. Let me know your thoughts in the chat/comments.
Ryan Long, everybody.
La 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 la, it's copyright music, probably. He's walking up to the stage right now. It said written by Ryan Long, so now we know. And I still got music going on. Thank you. Getting sort of exorbitant. Lots and lots of music. He's saying thank you, thank you. He's not. Alright, first of all, the special is called Problem Solved, which already puts him out ahead of Ian Edwards, because he was also on Story Wars this past episode. And even hearing him say, like, you know, check out my special Untitled, it's just so fucking bad. Again, it doesn't come off as like hip. It comes off as vehemently lazy. Still sideways on the monitor here. If you need to, I won't be offended if you kind of sort of just watch it that way. Anyway, so the special, which is just about to start, is called Problem Solved.
You supporting Israel or Palestine? Before we start, I should ask, who are you guys supporting, Israel or Palestine?
Wow, very political right off the bat. Clearly it's, but yeah, just the fact that I just brought up it being political because of when it came out.
You specifically, who are we going with? Also, if you could rank races from your favorite to least favorite.
It's kind of funny because the whole zeitgeist, and I think I'm using that word right, the whole zeitgeist on the thing has changed. Because, like, whose side are you on pretty much isn't a thing anymore. You really only ever hear about one side. At least from where I'm sitting, which is far away.
Some opinions on the books here. What age should kids transition at? That is information I need.
Another issue that was highly charged at the time, but hasn't really aged super well, because, like, oh yeah, I remember when that was what everyone was talking about. Again, election stuff. I fear that this may be kind of bogged down by all of that attention to topical subjects.
There's a lot of weird combos because of all this stuff. Recently, I saw two super gay dudes holding hands with Trump hats on. That's a fun combo, right? Ideal situations, build the border wall, then put a glory hole in it. You're not getting in, but a little something for the road.
It's so funny to me when Canadians get into American politics, as like, especially Canadian comedians, when they start talking about American politics. I'm not like bothered by it in any way, but it's just like, it feels okay. It feels like your friend that doesn't skate talking about, like, oh, he 50-50'd that rail, bro. And you're like, yeah, totally. You're allowed technically to talk like that. Same feeling.
No, I don't think being gay is a choice. Being really gay, probably a bit of a choice, but...
That's funny.
I hope that's your choice. To wear the shirt that says I'm a cum slave.
he is definitely wearing makeup. He's got like a little bit, which, you know, showbiz, that's fine. No judgment here, but like very clearly has some eyeliner of some kind on. He's looking fantastic.
You're not waking up every morning. Why do I have to do this? You guys are protesting Bud Light crowd or protesting Chick-fil-A the first time? There's a lot of...
Wow. And I only think, but protesting Chick-fil-A the first time was like 2011 or something. Weird way to open things up. There's 1,366,036 views. I said that right. I know math.
Protests right now because brands too gay or not gay enough. That's why nobody protests wrestling, because it's the perfect amount of gay. Little something for everybody. Fuck yeah, white trash, America for the Republicans. Two naked dudes rolling around for the Democrats. A little something for everybody.
Very wrestling specific.
That's why God approves. I live in New York now, which is kind of wild. This is what I saw outside of my house a couple of days ago. It's a guy and a girl arguing, right? And the girl looks at the guy. She goes, "Hey, listen, buddy."
Is it outside his house? Okay. So that was pretty crazy transition.
I live in New York now, which is kind of wild. This is what I saw outside of my house a couple of days ago. It's a guy and a girl arguing, right? And the girl looks at the guy. She goes, "Hey, listen, buddy."
Seriously, there was no transition there. It was just like, I live in New York. I mean, I guess Democrat, but again, I'm doing the thing where I'm trying to write, in essence, writing fan fiction for him here. Because he didn't say, speaking of Democrats, I did recently move to New York, blah, 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 blah.
Something for everybody.
He goes right from wrestling into I live in New York. For some reason, it feels less clunky than Louis J. Gomez's special. Which, by the way, is hilarious. I do have my review of it up on my YouTube page. Go check it out at Critical Eeks, E-E-K-S. But it's funny because I think it was on The Rags, a podcast he does with Bobby Kelly. He and Bobby Kelly, who was the producer or director, he directed Lewis's special. So Bobby and Lewis are talking, and Lewis is like, "Yeah, I showed it to my sister the other day," and she kept saying like, "Oh, there was no, in essence, no transitions." He's like, "You know, oh, that joke could have ended more smoothly, or that ended abruptly," and it's like, "Fuck you, it's already done." But it's funny because apparently his sister has better taste than he, because she clearly was right. There were zero transitions in that, and comparably, like this is not a transition, but it still kind of, I guess, works. Maybe not. Maybe you don't have to necessarily acknowledge like I'm transitioning into this next joke, and so I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully it was intentional. Like Democrats, wrestling, New York. I don't know. It feels like a stretch.
Rolling around for the Democrats. A little something for everybody. That's why God approves. I live in New York now, which is kind of wild. This is what I saw outside of my house a couple of days ago. It's a guy and a girl arguing, right? And the girl looks at the guy. She goes, "Hey, listen, buddy. I showed you both my titties. Now give me the McFlurry." Right? So...
Straight up. This is a Monopoly guy joke. Pretty classic. Talked about it at length on the channel. I don't think I've talked about it on this show. But in essence, to be very brief about it, it's where you introduce a concept that is preposterous, and then you continue to make jokes about how preposterous that thing is. It's like you've contrived this situation. It's ridiculous because you made it ridiculous. Now you taking the time to go, "Isn't this thing ridiculous? Knock, knock, who's there? This is ridiculous." That's a Monopoly guy joke a la Dan Harmon talking about Ace Ventura. And that's what I feel like he's about to go into doing. Is like, first of all, that's a crazy thing to say. More Minnesota than Canada, but I'm here for it.
These are the deals. Now give me the McFlurry, right? And the girl looks at the guy. She goes, "Hey, listen, buddy. I showed you both my titties. Now give me the McFlurry."
Now this works if we've heard the person say that. So like, arguably in the context of a movie like Ace Ventura, it's still funnier because the whole thing, you know, especially fiction, you know, it's okay, this person said this thing, now he can riff on it organically, but him just kind of making it up, I don't know, it just feels really weak. There's just not really much of a core to this.
Right. So, I showed you both my titties. Now give me the McFlurry. Right. So, these are the deals that they got going on, right? Titty for McFlurry exchanges that are going south at some point. Where I guess the girl showed the titties and the guy was like, "Nah, that ain't McFlurry titties. Those are nugget titties tops."
This would be a funny rant if we had just walked past those people on the street and he was like, I don't know. And maybe that's how this joke got written, but in my opinion, it does not translate. We have to lean too hard on his word that this happened and it was ridiculous. Tom Segura does this a lot too, where he'll be telling a story and it's kind of like where you get to the end of a story and haven't gotten the reaction that you want, so you like step it up and then this crazy thing happened. It's sort of like that, only like it with Tom Segura, it kind of just spirals off into like and then he said, "That's not cool," and so I said to him, "Yeah, dude." You know, like he makes these whole arguments, and again, it creates this like disconnect in the same way that this is. I'm like, okay, I guess you probably heard that, so you might as well spend the next several minutes of both of our lives now talking about that thing that I have to take your word on.
Two-pack. Girls are allowed to have their tits out in public, but you don't see a lot of them doing it, which is kind of messed up, because if you don't use your rights, you lose them, ladies, but I guess you don't care.
I don't think that's true. Maybe in New York it's true. But I'm pretty sure, wasn't that like a whole thing? When I lived in Oregon, it was like a thing.
But they do always have that conversation, right? They're like, should girls be allowed to breastfeed in public? And I guess some people are like, no, and some guys are like, you can squirt it on me for all I care. Yeah, I think girls should be allowed to breastfeed wherever they want, but I also do think if the...
That was weird. A weird transition into the politics of breastfeeding. Yeah, okay.
Baby's full, you should have to offer the rest to any guys that are thirsty in the vicinity, because there's kids starving in Africa. Do you remember parents used to say that? There's kids starving in Africa, you gotta eat your food. African kids love it.
I remember that people used to say that, parents used to say that. I don't think I've ever heard it used literally. Yeah.
When you finish your food, it's like their favorite thing, right?
It's not their favorite thing. It was never anyone's favorite thing.
They get stoked.
Like maybe in movies, but I don't, even then they're making a balloon animal. It's a mockery of people that say that, but I think that was popular in like the 50s or some shit. I don't know where Ryan Long heard that. Maybe it's a popular Canadian expression. I don't know.
Yes. Thing, right? They get stoked. Love it when you finish your food. It's like their favorite thing, right?
Their favorite thing.
They get stoked. Yes. You know you could do it. And they get pissed when you don't finish. They're like, what the hell? Not even the broccoli? Oh.
What? I lost the plot somewhere in here. We're going back like 20 seconds.
Parents used to say that. There's kids starving in Africa. You gotta eat your food. African kids love it when you finish your food. It's like their favorite thing, right? They get stoked. Yes. You know you could do it. And they get pissed when you don't finish. They're like, what the hell? Not even the broccoli? Oh.
Okay. Again, I don't... Like, it's funny. I guess it's funny.
Do you remember you used to have all those commercials for starving African kids? You don't see them anymore because we...
So funny. If you would have asked me 60 seconds ago on this timeline where we would have ended up, with a million guesses, I would never have landed on African children from McFlurry titties. So maybe that's a testament to his transitional capacity. I don't know.
We solved it by eating our vegetables, so congratulations. Yeah. No, it didn't help, but it kind of felt like it did a little bit, right? It's kind of like going up to a homeless guy and you're like, really good news. I'm using every room in my house.
That's funny.
There was an empty room, but I put an office there in solidarity. There will be no waste in the Long household.
Very funny.
But most guys aren't gonna look if a girl's breastfeeding. Sometimes they're making a bit of a show of it, though, right? No? Well, I don't know if you know, on YouTube, there's all these, like, tutorials for breastfeeding to help new mothers. 12 million views on these videos, right?
I find myself wanting to know more about I guess he didn't really Monopoly guy at that heart. It was, though. It was like a lazy Monopoly guy joke. Because he just, like, said this ridiculous thing, was like, wasn't that ridiculous? And then moved on one joke later. Excuse me, Wojo. That was so strange. Because, yeah, then we went into titties. Now we're at breastfeeding. And, oh, man, I really do need to I have that TV back there. I need to get it pulled up behind me so I can have a little bit more of, like, a visual element. Things that I can show you guys that are like, that's... Because the face that I'm looking at here is just hilariously sinister. I have to take my word for it.
Just 12 million new mothers, right? That's probably most likely what that is. 12 million new mothers leaving comments like, wish I was the baby. Like, yeah. He's a thirsty boy, isn't he?
It's funny, Brian Redband talked about this, it was like years ago on Kill Tony. He like brought it up. So he's definitely one of those people.
Save some for Doug.
That's just Doug Benson. I hate Doug Benson.
There's 0 channels where it's a dude doing like a testicular cancer exam. And 12 million women are like, do the left one. Yeah, don't forget the left ball. Vagina's just worth more than dick. That's simple arithmetic. Girls can sell their used panties on the internet for thousands of dollars just because it touched your vagina. That's crazy, right? Everything a dick touches is immediately worth less money.
It was worth it. The setup was worth it. The setup was, I don't necessarily, like, okay, is it? I'm pretty sure, like, there are, like, OnlyFans girls that can do that, but I don't think just anyone can sell their used. I hope not. I don't know.
Fact. Watch, give me your drink. I'll do a demonstration of the devaluing power. Algorithms are a little on dudes' asses right now, though. You know, they'll just send you pictures of naked girls all day long when you're scrolling, and if you stutter with your finger, the algorithm is like, you are the titty man for the rest of your life. And then your girl's like, why is your phone all hot chicks? And you're like, I'm being fucking set up here, man. Mark Zuckerberg's out to get me.
That's funny.
In real life, a girl doesn't walk by with her tits out, you take a peek, and for the rest of the day, she's everywhere. I'm at the bank, and I take a break. You looked once, you'll look forever. Trying to get dudes off the conspiracy videos, that's what's happening. They see you looking at MK Ultra late at night, they're like, send in the titties. Close up this
That is many layers of conspiracy theory there.
third eye. What's the Federal Reserve been up to? Titties. You can't have flat earth, but you can have round tits. That's the algorithm saying to you. That's how they keep you depressed.
Really funny. That's the through line here through this like last 7 minutes. It's just been titties. It's funny.
I don't even know that, but the depression rate's like super high here. In China, it's like 4% because slave labor cures depression. They don't want you to know that. But... No.
I've been enjoying this more than I thought I would. He's a funny dude. At work right now. I'll pull up with my crew for your next stream. Add me on Discord. Right on, yeah, we'll do. Yeah, I hope to see you next time. Appreciate you. Alrighty. So yeah, through line has been titties this whole time.
4% because
We went from McFlurry titties. We've taken quite a journey. Pretty good first act, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I'm enjoying it more than I expected to. Just because it's the classic, like, you see it happen both ways, where people will go on a podcast, really demonstrate their personality. It kind of makes you just, like, hate them a little. Just, like, you like them notably less. But then their comedy's good, but their personality sucks. That's kind of the Ryan Long situation. Or in the case of Luis J. Gomez, where you enjoy them on podcasts, and then you go find them on their comedy special, and you get kind of a hokier version of them, and you're like, there's a disconnect there. I sort of had a reverse Gomez with Ryan Long just now.
slave labor cures depression. They don't want you to know that, but no, it is high here, though. I saw a commercial for a depression medication, and the side effects were suicidal thoughts, so it's not a great product, you know? All right, what if it doesn't work? They're like, well, just say you won't be depressed one way or the other after you take it. You can have a side effect that's worse. That's like, oh, we have a medication for CTE, and the side effects are you might beat your wife more. It's worse. That's like if you went to get the vaccine for COVID. Well, that's a bad example because that one's perfect, but there are potentially... Oh, God. Now...
I see that was hack even a year ago, even last November. Or October or whatever the hell this came out. October. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't surprise me that that's his take. He is... I can't necessarily say that he's part of the like right-wing grift, but he definitely has seen like an uptick during the like kind of conservative takeover of 2024, 2025 and that particular realm of the comedy world. He's definitely, you see him more and more making more and more appearances. I referenced it in the last episode, but he's kind of got a little bit of Austin brain, as Stavros put it, which I like. I don't necessarily see that as like a demerit necessarily, but it is. It's definitely a thing.
Now they're sending
This guy's full on Austin brain.
titties again. This is what happened.
Because he opened with trans. He kind of keeps teasing, and I am a little bit of a fan of this. I like the playfully asking very controversial questions. I admittedly am a fan of that, but it is very common with the like Austin brainitis type of deal. And yeah, he's been trans people, titties, Israel Palestine. Like, yeah, he's definitely
Happens. These algorithms.
I think he lives in Austin too. That really just makes the most sense. Austin. Because I know it said he lived in... well, it's not really popping up as easily as I thought. So last thing we read said he was from New York, or lives in New York. He's from Toronto.
So I was moving recently, and we were looking up moving companies, but because of the algorithm that kept showing us this one company that was like an all-girl moving company, like a shitty moving company, right? And...
Do you know what I mean? Austin Rain. It's like, it's clearly a joke. He's clearly like trying to be extreme, but that's very, very common in the Kill Tony adjacent realm.
Honestly, I'm not even saying that to be controversial, but like, has any dude here ever been moving with his chick and halfway through is like, babe, you gotta start a company. You are crushing it. You gotta take this pro, baby. All right, how about this? All-girl moving company called the Ex-Wives, and they just take half your stuff. How about... Come on, that's a pretty good idea.
So weird. Divorce.
You can have it. It's your idea. I'm kind of on the lady side, by the way, because I don't think I should be a mover, you know? I don't think anyone would be happy if you hired a mover and a guy like me showed up like, we're doing both couches. No, you want...
Way to bring it back, a little self-deprecation.
Want some retard from the suburbs with cauliflower ears. Where's the boxers, right? Guy looks like that. That's what you want, right there. I used to do UFC. I moved.
The camera panned over to like show the guy. You didn't really miss much by not seeing it.
Move now. Sandpaper fingers, right? They would destroy a woman's vagina if he fingered her, right? That's not my silky smooth comedy hands.
Got sort of Dalia vibes there.
I will say, though, if you ever hire someone to help you move, you better not be there, because you'll never feel like a bigger bitch as a man than hiring another real man to come move cuck you in your own house. Two real men walk in like, all right, ladies, what do we... Oh, a guy hired us. All right, weird. Okay. You're just in the corner in the dark.
A lot of moving-based material here.
I'm the guy paying, brother. Slower.
I guess he did just move to New York when he did this, so... All right, what you know.
You like that? I'll pay you more if you sweat a bunch. Just turn you into a trad wife. You're like, you boys need some lemonade. They're emasculating you. Like, you'll tell you what, you can hold the wrench, kiddo. You're like, can I? Oh my God, they're heavy.
Gotta drop the mic. Yeah, good. Good mic use. I don't think I've really seen that.
I honestly don't even get that weird about masculinity stuff. Only sometimes there'll be like shows that are a little...
That is one thing I'll give him. And I think he's a musician. He kind of carries himself like an ex-emo. So I don't really know. But he's got good stage presence. I'll give him that. Like the way he's kind of walking around, you know, he's talking with his hands a little bit. Like that was a really exaggerated version of it where he like dropped the mic. But shit like that. But he's very comfortable and not even like, you know, actually, yeah, fantastic counterexample is last episode with Ian Edwards, who maybe it's his legitimate personality and maybe he wasn't nervous at all and he's just like kind of likes to talk like that. Like maybe that's his vibe or whatever, but night and day difference. Ryan Long feels very much like he planned to be on the stage and like, you know, has spent lots of time there. And I know Ian Edwards is like a 20-year veteran or a 15-year veteran or whatever of comedy, but yeah, he was way tighter, way more... and I genuinely believe that, because I think he got like a 6'5", we'd have been looking at a solid 7 if he loosened up a little. Someone tell him.
Little too in your face. Like, you guys know Yellowstone, like the cowboy show?
See what I mean about the stage presence? He's literally being very present in the moment. He's addressing. We'll go back to like catch that laugh, but I mean, unless that's a plant, which weird move. I think that he's light on his feet.
Like, you guys know Yellowstone, like the cowboy show? Big Yellowstone fan?
I don't know. Again, it seems like he's being real slick.
What's your thoughts on Yellowstone while we're on the subject? What do you think of it? Pretty good. I don't know. Not bad. It is a little in your face, though. Girls watching want to fuck cowboys a little too much. Which is fine if you're a cowboy, not so fine if you're a comedian.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel because Chris D'Elia special, which I reviewed on the YouTube channel. It's like one of the first ones. Editing, video editing, you know, is of course quite juvenile, but I stand behind my review. And it's funny because there is a moment where he okay. So he at one point he had a plant, and I'm certain it's a plant. And go watch the video because I'll break it. I break it down. It's been quite a while. I've been going over the details of the moment. But he had a moment where he had like this really emotionally charged kind of diatribe, and then he paused, and the audience kind of didn't know what to do, so they sort of like, all right, yeah. And then finally his plant yelled, you know, "You're the shit, Chris," or whatever, and he's like, "Thank you, man." He did like full Abrams method acting, you know, look up slowly. Anyway, I think I don't remember why I started talking about Chris D'Elia.
In New York, you know what I mean? The guy on the screen, the girls watching want to fuck cowboys a little.
Oh, girls watching want to fuck cowboys. I have no idea.
Too much.
Oh, the plant. So, but in this case, I don't think this was a plant. I think that Chris, I don't know, he probably didn't have to pay a guy. He probably just like said to the guy, "Hey, when I break, like, you'll know the moment." The guy was not as on it as Chris had hoped. But this Yellowstone thing, I think, is actual crowd engagement. Because it didn't really, like, it seems like the joke didn't depend on that moment versus Chris's emotionally charged diatribe that didn't go anywhere after the, like, oh no, that's what it was, is he was, like, vamping a line or something. Anyway, go check it out. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think that this audience interaction was organic. I did it. Landed it.
Which is fine if you're a cowboy, not so fine if you're a comedian in New York, you know what I mean? The guy on the screen will just be like, "A man who can't ride a horse is not even a man at all." And I'm on my bed in Manhattan like, what the fuck? I'm a man. Bullshit. You ladies sitting in your bed with a man who can't even protect you on 14th Avenue. Oh, you're like, that one's about me. That feels...
See, that's very sketch, like a sketch brand of comedy. I could see that, like, him doing that. I think it's funnier as a sketch than it is as just a stand-up premise.
I can protect you. Then I hear something at the door, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. I find myself being defensive. I'll be like, I mean, some people have said that comedians are the cowboys of the internet, so...
Weird.
Hey, remember that joke I made that was offensive to Indians? Bit of a cowboy move, right? A little bit of cowboy behavior there. So maybe that, and then a few months ago, my...
That joke's funny if that actually happened. I don't know. I don't know his career very well.
Girl asked me to open a jar and I couldn't, so I don't know if you ever not been able to open a jar. All right, you just... Ladies and gentlemen, we have David Goggins in the audience tonight.
Who the fuck is David Goggins? I know Walton Goggins. David Goggins is... Oh, he's an American motivational speaker and author. Shredded dude. Wrote the book Can't Hurt Me. Master your mind and... Anyway, so he's some kind of motivational speaker guy. American motivational speaker, author, and retired U.S. Navy SEAL. My. An ultra-marathon runner, ultra-distance cyclist, and triathlete, he was inducted into the International Sports Hall of Fame in 2019 for both his achievements in sports and his service in the United States Armed Forces. Succinct. Okay, so that's apparently... That's a really weirdly deep cut.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have David Goggins in the audience tonight.
Okay, so now with that context, let's see what the hell joke he's making here.
There. So maybe that, and then a few months ago, my girl asked me to open a jar, and I couldn't, so I don't know if you ever not been able
I see.
to open a jar. All right, you just... Ladies and gentlemen, we have David Goggins in the audience tonight. He just laughed at me like, I do 2 jars at once, pussy. Pickles for everybody.
Is he Canadian or something? Why did he think that everyone would catch that reference? Is he like a big deal? Holy shit, yeah, he does have 14 million followers on Instagram, so pretty big deal. You versus you. Best David Goggins motivational speech. Cool. Okay, so he asked the guy, have you ever not been able to open a jar? The guy laughed at him. David Goggins. Okay. Now I know.
Just looks at the pickles. They jump out. They know what's up. Well, it's not ideal, so that's better. Because your chick's like, can you open this jar? And you're like, yeah, obviously. Then you watch her pussy dry up as you're like, is it like a prank jar? A prank situation?
I feel like he makes that joke a lot.
And then because girls are nice, she goes, well, why don't we ask the neighbor to open it? I go, I mean, if you want me to kill myself, ask the neighbor? Are you out of your mind walking over? Ding dong, we heard there's a strong man that lives here.
Seriously, his stage presence, his the physical element to his comedy, it all really does kind of, the writing, it's nothing to write home about necessarily. It's solid enough. He, I think, is familiar enough with himself as a performer to know how to set himself up to be funny. Because his writing is like, it's not like, whoa, bombastic punchlines and smooth, slick setups and callbacks you weren't expecting. It's a lot more just him, because he kind of lost me, and then he got me back in that punchline because just his slight physical comedy. Again, I hate to keep pointing to that element while not being able to physically show you yet, but we will get there.
You fucked? The only thing I could do is go over and be like, yo, could you open this jar? Yeah, me too, just checking, boys. Go back on. He wasn't home, took it down on the way over. That's what I do. But then worse than that, she goes, no, I don't know why you're making a big deal of this. I prefer that you're not some macho guy. And I go, that's not actually a compliment. I prefer a weak man. That's a compliment, like your girl saying, oh no, I actually prefer yours because the big ones hurt too much. Or worse, I prefer yours. The regular ones hurt too much.
They totally mean it when they say that. Oh, we've got an ad. A little bit of an ad. Let's see, we play a little more of our... Well, I feel silly because I muted the whole thing instead of just the ad. Still going. These are getting longer. These definitely are. Someday I'll start a Patreon and we can get YouTube Gold or whatever they call it.
Maybe dudes need, girls have positivity on the internet where it'll be like, every girl's beautiful. It'll be like a girl under a bridge, like, even me.
I gotta go back. The ad confused me.
Maybe dudes need, girls have positive. Maybe dudes need, girls have positivity on the internet where it'll be like, every girl's beautiful. It'll be like a girl under a bridge, like, even me. Especially.
Just went straight from jars to that?
Much. Or worse, I prefer yours. The regular ones hurt too much.
Oh, I see, and that's how we get to positivity among dudes.
Maybe dudes need, girls have positivity on the internet where it'll be like, every girl's beautiful. It'll be like a girl under a bridge, like, even me.
I gotta say, I gave him the benefit of the doubt earlier for his transitions where I was like, well, that's like, there's a Venn diagram where there's a lot of overlap in that. And I was hoping it was that he is good at it. I think it may be, because a lot of these transitions are fairly solid. Like, depending on how long this kind of runs for, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see. So, a little distracted. I got a dog inbound. Hey, girl. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see where he takes this, because it is, if this ends up being a fully fleshed out bit and rolling into the next one, then this transition was fantastic. Very, very organic. I had to go back over it, but like, it's smooth.
The internet will be like, every girl's beautiful. It'll be like a girl under a bridge, like, even me. Especially you. There's no dude version where it's like, every man's rich and we can open every jar. Yeah, come to think of it, I fucked that jar up. Because the internet sort of tells people how they want the world to be.
See? Damn good transition.
But real life sorts it out a bit. You've seen things that'll be like, every girl should be allowed to walk through a dark alley at any time of night with her tits out. And real life's like, yeah, but don't though. What are you, crazy? Mental? I've even seen things on the internet that'll be like, women are just as strong as men. And it's like, okay, then why are you so easy for me to put in my trunk? You know what I mean? And I'm not even macho.
Good catch for that, and I'm not even macho, because I was literally about to be like, I don't know Ryan Long.
There is a lot of Gen Z and millennials or bitches stuff on the internet, which is true a little bit, but I don't like hearing it from someone that's too much older when it'll be like, men used to be men and we used to know how to treat a woman and they would respect us, and it's like, you also used to punch them way more. We used to hold a door for a damsel, but you also used to jam her head in the door if dinner wasn't prepared. So don't get mad at me when I open the door a crack, sidle through, and then don't punch you. That is fair, right? That's a fair trade-off. All I'm saying is chivalry came with a lot of fat lips. Hey. So
I don't know. It's an Austin Brain thing, I think.
when your girl's like, oh, would you take a bullet for me? It's like, why don't you just not be on set with Alec Baldwin in the first place? We don't have to have these conversations.
More weirdly topical stuff. Like the Alec Baldwin thing. Again, I remember when that was a really big deal, a hot button issue, but just doesn't age very well.
You know who you see it a little bit with, though? The action stars. Action stars back in the day used to be like psychopaths that believed they were the guy, like Seagal and Van Damme. Now they're like media trained. Jason Momoa will be like, everyone needs to recycle like a pussy a little bit. In 1990, Steven Seagal made a movie called Hard to Kill, if you guys remember this. There's one.
It'll be interesting to listen back to this, because I wonder how much of my enjoyment of this performance really is just his stage presence and the physical comedy he kind of introduces. Because he's a kind of a funny looking fella. He makes a lot of these like faces. He's kind of a little, he's got this like, I believe people call it a shit-eating grin. Where like he's got kind of that like antagonistic smile face that he makes, which really does help sell some of these more antagonistic punchlines. So it'll be funny listening back to this episode and hearing how funny I actually think his writing is versus like, again, the amount I'm actually enjoying this performance, because he's a hell of a performer. Also, strong transitions.
One scene where he's in a coma, right? And the nurse comes in, looks at his dick, and she goes, please don't die.
What the fuck?
In 1990, Steven Seagal made a movie called Hard to Kill, if you guys remember this. There's one scene where he's in a coma, right? And the nurse comes in, looks at his dick, and she goes, please don't die. She didn't want him to die because his dick's too big. That is it.
That's probably true.
Action star. Writing the script, nurse comes in, looks at the stick, pretty impressed.
Very on brand for Steven Seagal, too. A lot of funny YouTube documentaries about what he got into after his popularity. I'm fairly certain he's a sheriff. Or definitely was.
Not Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson being
In like Arizona or something too. It's very funny. You should definitely look into it.
like, donate to my charity. That used to be Mel Gibson drunk in his car yelling about Jews.
It was one time.
A psycho. Let me ask you a question.
Hey, sugar tits. While you're checking out videos, check out the Mel Gibson gets pulled over in like 2006 video. I want to say it's body cam footage of it. He got a DUI, and it says some of the funniest, most off-base, completely not okay shit. Starting off with addressing the female officer as sugar tits.
If you have to call one of your buddies to help you in a fight, do you call your friend with all the right opinions or your buddy who was banned from Facebook twice? Multiple Deweys. He's got to breathe into the car to start it, but once he does, it's go time.
Your
Wow.
smile.
Another ad here. Not surprised, but these ones are skippable, so we're good. Side note, really funny that if you miss skipping the first ad, you have to then sit through the entire second ad, or at least until that first 15 seconds is over. Feels like they're punishing you for watching the first one. I don't know. It's cruel.
Will Smith used to be Hancock. Now he's doing a press tour about his wife's boyfriends.
Hancock was bad. What are you talking about? Will Smith used to do bad, but like what? Will Smith had way cooler roles than fucking Hancock, dude.
And the moral of the story is
He was Hitch.
never trust a woman that gets the same haircut as you. I know. Hey. And I know, no matter how many buzz cuts your wife gets is not an excuse to start slapping black guys at the Oscars. I know that.
Another very topical, but weirdly late. It's another thing, is some of these topical jokes were already quite stale. You kind of have to leave some room for exception when it comes to comedy specials and that kind of thing, though. Because a lot of it's sort of a recap of the last year or 2 years worth of comedy that they've been writing, and then they put it all together in one big presentation, ideally. So, there are going to be things that were funny a year and a half, 2 years ago that get written into the special. Again, I do want to make some room for understanding there. Because you see it kind of a lot. It's something I've noticed, and I think that's why. Where it's but it's a couple of years late, but it's still a good bit. This was yeah. So I do have some understanding for that.
But it is a little unfair. You always hear, behind every great man's an even greater woman. But you never hear, behind every man that committed atrocities is a woman who's even more atrocious. Do you guys think Hitler's girlfriend loved Jews? I think she was in on the project, personally. Hitler came home after doing art or whatever Hitler was up to back then. It was like, how was your day, Eva? And she was like, I don't know, Hitler. She's really...
It really is. This is like the flagship special for Austin Brain.
Maggie, Hitler's girlfriend.
Not that he's from Austin or whatever. Again, I addressed it earlier, but if you were to look at a chart at the most frequently addressed issues on, say, Kill Tony among the open micers, it's I'm not saying his jokes are unrefined like an open micers. I just mean he's touching on all those same subjects that are, by a lot of people's opinions, quite hack now.
I don't know, Hitler. I was just talking to a real man today, David Rosenberg. What are you going to do about it?
But yeah, it's now we're talking about Hitler.
Man that can grow a full mustache.
Alright, I'm going to run it back 30 seconds and let it play while I get some more water. I will be right back.
Do you guys think Hitler's girlfriend loved Jews? I think she was in on the project, personally. Hitler came home after doing art or whatever Hitler was up to back then. It was like, how was your day, Eva? And she was like, I don't know, Hitler. She's really naggy, Hitler's girlfriend. was just talking to a real man today, David Rosenberg. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's see where he goes with it. As of now, I have nothing nice to say, so I'll say nothing at all.
Man that can grow a full mustache.
Tina used to worry about...
This is getting out of hand. It's like they know I'm trying to put on a show here. Did you know I've got person watching?
She died, though, which is probably good. If Hitler's girlfriend didn't die, she'd have a blog right now. 10 ways to know when you were dating a narcissist. Hitler's girlfriend...
Where are blogs? You hear about people talking about blogs. Is that like where do blogs live on the internet? Because I still hear them talked about. I remember when it became a thing. I've just never known, like, where do they go? Where do they all hang out? Like, is this fucking blogs.com? Like, I don't know. It might be an Instagram thing. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna have a podcast with Anne Frank about how they're both victims. Okay. 2 more bad things and I want to move on.
He's funny. He's one of those guys, it's like he himself is likable in like a class clown, shithead kind of way. So he can kind of get away with these like intentionally provoking people. I again, stylistically, I do tend to gravitate toward that style of comedy, but it is also just objectively funny to watch somebody get away with it, where it's like, you're a lovable fuck. Like, it's that archetype. Friend's little brother vibe. Like, yeah, he's a little fucking piece of shit, but he's cool, I guess. You know, like...
This is there's probably not even any here, but late.
Versus somebody who's presenting these things not to be antagonistic necessarily. People who just, like, think it's good points or something. You know what I mean? It's a fine line, but I think he does a good job of towing that line. Douchebag, though, he may in fact be. I don't know.
Ladies, this is a fair question. Why do the women that hate men the most look the most like men? That is a fair question.
Some chick, woo! Yeah, why is that?
Buzz cuts, men's clothing. That would be like if the leader of the KKK was wearing a do-rag, right? The white race is the best race.
Seriously, on your Austin comedy bingo cards, somebody probably won 2 or 3 times now. Or 2.
Rag, right?
KKK got mentioned.
The white race is the best race. He's dribbling a basketball, like beatboxing. Like, loves black people, it looks like.
From the 80s.
I think sometimes people are a little unfair to women because we'll say, oh, they're more crazy.
I feel like beatboxing has been culturally appropriated by now.
Their craziness is just spread out. You all get a little, whereas guy craziness is centralized into one psychopath that has a woman locked in his basement. Girls, you know, girl craziness like 5%. Guy craziness is like normal. Hitler, normal. Shoots up at school, normal.
I see. So it's like the craziness is dispersed throughout the population. Okay, I see what you're saying.
There was only one woman that ever shot up a school, and she went trans first before she did it. You know what? 25 years as a woman, no problems. 1 year paying for her own drinks.
Funny place to take that. Again, that kind of edgier style, you know, it's easy to become very cringe being that way, but if done correctly, it's, you know, I think that's part of the art. It's like, it's the classic, saying something that'll catch the attention, is a little bit, you know, controversial, and then justifying it or subverting expectations so that you provide like that was a fantastic example of like, okay, where's he going? Like school shooter, another Austin bingo card, you know, school shooter, okay, trans, okay, oh okay, had to pay for his own drinks. That's funny.
Drinks. 25 years as a woman, no problems. 1 year paying for her own drinks. $50? No, we just had 2 margaritas. That's how much they cost! No.
Okay, so it must just be on a timer or something. One of two things is happening. These are coming up so frequently because I keep pausing and then talking. Because I think it's been, I mean, I'm like 12 minutes into this. I'm 20 minutes into this special. And we've already had like 7 or 8 ad breaks, probably realistically 5 or 6. So maybe it's on a timer. And so right now that timer is ticking down because we're back from the ad and I'm just sitting here pontificating. Or Ryan Long is kind of a bitch and just put a bunch of ads in this, which is, I don't know if I'm going to let it affect his score because I'm not certain that it's his fault, but I really think it is. I think at some point, because I've never monetized yet, but I think that at some point you choose like how many ads per minute or how many ads per hour or whatever that you want to have in your video, and you get paid accordingly, you know, to however many people watch those ads, yada yada. I know it's complicated, but I'm fairly certain it's his fault, and that does affect my opinion of this special because it was a YouTube special. You knew where it was going. This was how it was designed to come out. Why would you then ruin your own rhythm and timing to be like, well, I mean, you know, I gotta get that 0.0025 cents per view. That's what it is on SoundCloud. I actually have monetized. But SoundCloud, it's not like, you gotta, they use the word monetize as like a little scammy vibe, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's a little bit of a scam. They're also doing really bad right now. I follow the subreddit for SoundCloud, and I guess the whole service for a lot of people has been down for days. There's been no announcement or anything. Does not surprise me. I had a lot of problems when I was dealing with SoundCloud, but there's a whole bunch of music out there. You can track it down. Follow the breadcrumbs.
So there's obviously hard parts about being a girl, but there's hard parts about being a guy too. We have to pretend we hate Andrew Tate. That's one. No,
So respect Brother Hart.
just kidding, but it's fine. A lot of those guys will be like, every guy should have so much pussy and money, and you have to be there with your chick. Like, what an idiot. Like, no, you shouldn't.
He does. He has this like villainous look. He keeps like looking at the crowd with.
It's stupid.
It adds a lot.
I think they're better at making laws to help women, though, because when they do it for men, they just kind of do it the same. Like, right now, there's a law. It's illegal to have sex with someone that's mentally retarded, right? Is that going to be a problem? Does someone need to make a phone call?
Yeah,
Well, it's a good rule. It's so men don't take advantage of women. But do men really need that law made for us the other way around? I feel like a guy could be the most mentally retarded dude in the world in the Stephen Hawking's wheelchair, the whole thing. Yeah.
He dropped retarded. That's on the Austin board for sure.
And as a society, we're like, we know your life is really hard, but good news, we just passed a law that if a woman ever fucks you, we put her in jail for life. You're welcome.
Funny take on a weird subject.
I feel like the most mentally retarded dude in the world would be like, I won't tell. snitch. You can call me retarded, I'm retarded for that point.
You can see why he's blowing up for sure. As far as like his subject matter and his kind of general take. Because, yeah, now we're on, quote, retarded guys. It's like it's all checking all the Kill Tony, all the Austinite boxes. Though I think he's New York. I wish I may spend more time looking into that because I'm a little curious.
Stephen Hawking, opposite of mentally retarded. Snizhound. Isn't that crazy? When Stephen Hawking went to Epstein's Island, he was walking normal, and apparently...
I gotta go back on that again.
Isn't that crazy? When Stephen Hawking went to Epstein's Island, he was walking normal, and...
That may be true. Oh, first time chatter, ornamental, best view. Well, I appreciate the comment. Not interested, but thank you for the algo. Try one more time. Thank you for the algo.
Apparently, that's how good it was. And when they asked him about it, he said, worth it. It is funny that Stephen Hawking was getting so much pussy. Like, if you have a buddy that's like, man...
Crazy that we're talking about Stephen Hawking still. I guess funny to nod at, but...
No girls will fuck me, and Stephen Hawking just swimming in it, you know? What's your excuse? He was turning down women! By the way, I don't know if I could date a girl if she just got swerved by the hawk.
Again, not a very funny concept with the phrasing, Bubba, I don't know if I could date a girl if she just got swerved by the hawk, is funny.
Like,
even if it's just phonetically, that's funny.
Like if right before you, your girl goes up to Stephen Hawking, she goes, I don't care what anyone said, Stephen Hawking, you're so hot, I want to have sex with you, and he goes, gross. Beat it. Fuck me, bitch.
A lot of physical stuff going on. Not his best physical work, in my opinion, but yes.
And then you gotta like run into him at a party awkwardly. You're like, how do you two know each other? And Stephen Hawking's like, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
He has quite an imagination, too, because some of these just go off the fucking rails, dude.
As long as you like her, that's all that matters.
Okay. You know what? We need to know. The world needs to know. Because if I'm starting to become quite annoyed, and I need to know if I'm taking it out on Ryan or not. Do YouTubers get to choose how many ads? One of the first things that popped up. Yes, YouTubers choose. Now, this is an AI overview. We're currently in the era where that should be taken with a grain of salt. Yes, YouTubers choose where and how many mid-roll ads to place in videos over 8 minutes. Comma, but ultimately YouTube decides if and which ads run, balancing creator control with viewer experience and content, which has suitability. Creators, but bullshit they do. This is content suitability. If that in any way is in reference to it affecting the quality of the content, their QA is definitely in need of some refining. Anyway, so this is Ryan's fault. Fuck you, sir. This is a crazy amount of ads. Luckily, I can count them back because I've been calling them out every time. So I will be, you're being documented, Sir Long.
Not a great impression.
Hawking, I think.
But on the topic of throats, I think as a society, we all owe Michael Douglas a bit of an apology.
Okay, that, because it's a transition and because I obsess over them, apparently. He's doing Hawking right now.
As long as you like her, that's all that matters. Not a great impression. But on the topic of throats,
I guess because he's, because the, like, it feels like he missed a line there. Like, not a great impression. I sound more like the guy I sound more like the lady from the cigarette commercials, which they love to talk about that ad, which ran back in the 80s. Anyway, it's weird. On the topic of throats, sure, Ryan, sure.
I think as a society, we all owe Michael Douglas a bit of an apology. Because I don't know if you remember, a few years ago, Michael Douglas was like, one of the reasons I got throat cancer was from eating pussy. And everyone was like, shut up, Michael Douglas, that's not how you get throat cancer. And then a lot of doctors were like, it's one of the leading causes of throat cancer. And women still make you do it. That's how much of monsters they are. They want...
Really funny. Really fun. I was just talking about how it's like, but that's kind of like a popular thing to refer to with regards to the lady who does the cigarette box thing, how comedians love to refer to it, even though it ran in the 80s. And that's a thing that Louis J. Gomez brings up often, or at least, like, it came up on a couple of podcasts, and then, like, he brought it up on his special. Same with Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones in the throat cancer story. Really weird. I gotta wonder if that's been inspired by Lewis's obsession with this. Because they do run in the same circles. Apparently they're New Yorkers together.
Why don't you go down on them even though they have a pack of smokes between their legs? A pack of Marlboro Red no filters between their thighs. In 10 years, you're going to see commercials of just a guy on TV with a hole in his neck. Like, I wish I never started.
We went right back to that. See, my line that I thought was missing, it would have been good. It would have helped plug all this together rather than on the topic of throats and then genuinely going into talking about throat cancer without actually really tagging the base at all. Or I missed something. I'm perfectly willing to believe it's either.
It was supposed to be 169. She wouldn't let me stop.
Ryan's is funnier because it actually, like, he's doing the thing. It's, like, actually working. I think Lewis just doesn't like this. People are dying.
People in America are very hyped about politics right now, which
See, that right there is good. That's like an act break almost, where he took long, drawn-out drink of water, let the laughter kind of die down. He's good, man. He's got a strong command of what he does.
I've never voted, which pisses people off because I still talk mad shit, right? But a friend of mine, she was like, I've never had sex with someone that has different political views than me. And I'm like, you probably have, though. Little technique dudes use called lying. Well, see, I fucked a dude where it's obvious. Dudes aren't stupid. If you're trying to get that type of trim, you don't show up with your January 6th commemorative t-shirt. The
Jan 6, that's it's on the Austin bingo card.
Bullhorns and the InfoWars gear at home.
That might be actually fun to do for some of these comedians, like actually make up a bingo board. Like, I guess I don't really know how bingo works, but it's definitely possible where you could, randomize it somehow, and then because this guy, he's hitting all the hits. He's just pouring through all of the essentials.
If you're trying to smash that. Same reason if a girl's got like a Let's Go Brandon shirt taking shots at the
Jan 6th was the connection there.
bar. You gonna sidle up to that girl? Like, they need more women in STEM fields. You're done, You gotta tell that girl some Republican shit. I want to storm that pussy like it's the Capitol. Let's get out of here. You Joe Biden, because my dick feeling the inflation. Stuff like that. Tell him some Republican shit. It's gone both ways, though. I have a friend in Texas. Last time I was there, he was like, dude, you gotta come to the gun range.
Last time I was there. So he's not an Austinite, but he's definitely has a touch of the Austinitism. TM, Critical Eeks.
Range with me, and I was like, I don't want a good gun range. He's like, what are you, like a liberal pussy now? And I was like, I think I'm just a normal pussy. Like,
Austinitism. Phonetically, the second one, the Austinitism is better. It's gonna be funny in writing.
If we need to make politics into it, I'm just in my 30s. I want to do stuff I don't want to do. And by the way, I've went once to the gun range. I know what happens. You hold the gun, then your stepdad holds you way too tight. And when you hit the bullseye, it gives you a kiss on the lip. And I'm not falling for that again. Boy, it's funny when you always have to hear about everyone's politics. I had a pilot when I was coming back from America to Canada, and this is when people still had to wear masks at the time. And the pilot came on the loudspeaker, and he was like, hey, everyone, you got to put your masks on, and I want the record to state this is a rule I very much do not agree with.
Fighting on a...
Another ad. Ryan Long, you greedy piggy. You skinny little piggy. Yeah, we're getting to about the halfway point in the special. It's, best one I've reviewed in a while. It came out in 2024, so it's not in contention with I Never Promised You a Rose Garden, which was a 2025 best special of the year. I would have to do more research to be able to state this confidently, but maybe the best special of the 20s. Like, someone's gonna have to really blow the fucking doors off in order to surpass it. I'm glad to hear that I'm not alone in my praise for this special. Not a big Joe DeRosa guy. Actually, he's kind of, DeRosa's like almost patient zero for that phenomenon I was describing earlier, where I'm like really not a huge fan of the podcast appearances. He's sagacious yester rocker, so I can relate to him in a lot of ways in that sense, but just never really been particularly charmed by the man. And then I watched his comedy special, and he fucking blew me away. It's very, very well written, very funny, kind of makes you think. It's shot kind of avant-garde, people are knocking it for being artsy, which, yeah, I get that, but it's kind of very film school feel to it. But the writing itself is quite sound, in my opinion. Ryan Long is probably, top 5 for sure that I've done, that I've publicly reviewed. Definitely top 5 specials so far. Not loving it, but it's just a testament to how bad the rest of the swill out there really kind of is these days, even from people who I do like.
Mic away from agree with. But it was to the point where they were like grabbing the mic away from him, like, liberal overreach. Bring your Congress people. What happened to my body, my joy? And half the plane's like boo, and half the plane's like, And I'm kind of like, we should probably start the plane though, no? I don't need to know my pilot's politics. Obviously, if I do have to know my pilot's politics, I prefer a Republican pilot. Not a political statement. I'll take the guy flying with God on the wings. Thank you very much. I'll take the...
This is weird. Weird little deer trail to go down in these confusing woods.
Political statement, I'll take the guy flying with God on the wings. Thank you very much. I'll take the patriot. It's his duty to land this plane for America. Like, thank you. Not some girl from a city coming on like, do you know how bad this jet is for global warming? We're dead. Are you crazy?
Are people still talking about global warming? I just never hear it. It's one of those classics where you never hear someone really bring up global warming. You only ever hear someone bring up someone bringing it up. You know, it's only ever like third party, like, and you know how people are talking about global warming? I'm so cold. Like, it's, again, some of these are so, to call them dated is almost like hack, because they're just very old concepts. Maybe that's just part of pop culture now. Like, we're so resoundingly, you know, potent at the time of their relevance that they actually kind of breach that veil into something that's eternally relevant, or at least, you know, has some sustainability to people being able to, like, understand it as a reference. Because, like, yeah, I guess, you know, Gen 6 is probably one of those that, like, it's history, so I guess it kind of, you can continue to get a lot of mileage out of it, versus, like, Alan Baldwin shot that person or whatever. I don't know.
Forbid there's a terrorist, you need a patriot who's gonna put his life on the line, right? Some dude who's still tricked into thinking the American military's the good guy, right? With a sense of duty, cracking necks, not today, Muhammad, you know? Calling the male stewardess gay in the same breath, a patriot. Not some girl from where I live coming on, guys, stop! We don't know what this terrorist has been through.
Okay, kind of teetering a little bit, where, like, his objectivity has reflected more of a centrist take. You know, again, he's got Austin brains, so he's very clearly, like, not a left-wing comedian, but especially in this, like, culture shift that happened in the last couple of years on the comedy scene, it's interesting because there are some people who aren't a part of, like, the right-wing, well, maybe are associated with the right-wing grift, but that's just because they didn't have a place to do their more centrist comedy over in the left-leaning clubs, which I think is changing these days. You start to see it becoming a lot more mainstream, like the whole Shane Gillis being sort of the snowplow for that resurgence of, like, comedy that's politically based but not charged with a bias of any kind. Which is, I think, what he's represented more of in this last, like, almost half an hour. But right here he's starting to kind of skirting right a little. Which Callan did as well in his special. And I definitely want to do a review. I think the challenge of that special, I think the challenge for that, for me, in that is going to be just trying to do it sterile and pure like I did the first time I watched it. Because I actually recorded that. It was sort of the prototype for this show. I was just like, all right, kind of, you hear the audio of what I'm doing now. This was the first one I did, was on the Brian Callen thing. And, you know, I'm going to have to do my best to be completely neutral and objective, which when you're critiquing something is usually where the high road lies. But everybody, even people who I, like, have come to respect, what the hell's his name? Trill Maher, spelled like Maher, like Bill Maher, Trill Maher. He's like 3K subscribers. Definitely has the potential to be kind of the next Elephant Graveyard in the space. Very organically artistic vibe to it. I sent him a message. Oh, God, so cringe. Sucking his dick, just glazing the shit out of him. And it was like, don't fall into that whole anti-Bird, anti-Brendan, hack shit, fighter in the kid stuff. And I watched another one of his videos, and he absolutely is one of those guys. So, bit of misfire there, but Trilmar is more well studied in the history of Brian Callen than I am. So maybe he allowed his knowledge of the artist to murk up his take on the actual special. Because there are some people who are just wrong about it. And again, not like, oh, it wasn't funny. Like I'm talking about objective, high quality moments that like you can point to why they're good. And it's like I have to be careful to not fold to peer pressure because I'm like, well, I definitely really like. I like that's Trilmar is one of the pages that I do like, not necessarily like American Redact or Cringe, Podcast Cringe. I liked Comedy Enforcement when they were around. Frankly, the whole genre is going tits up. The whole Akash Singh thing is so fucking embarrassing. They're like, this is what the genre has devolved into. Where it's like, can you believe this guy's wife is cucking him like this? It's just like, this is what we flew so high only to fall so low. I can't literally even remember the thing I was watching today. Oh, Redact's complete misread on the whole Bad Friends, Shane Gillis thing. Like, sure, it was probably Rocky, but he's talking about it like, I just discovered this thing. And Red Bar's even talked about it, where people will send him clips of Bad Friends, which is Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino's show. They'll send him clips of Bad Friends where they're like, these guys are fighting. And it's like, you fucking idiots. That's the bit. Like, that's the whole thing. And at one point, Redact is like, oh, it's before you accuse me of reaching, well, it's actually not a reach, and blah, 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 blah. It is a reach. You're way off base on that. It's crazy that you're trying to play that off as, like, compelling content. And this is coming from me, which is crazy, but I would suggest staying in the Shaw arena for you, Redact. Like, you're a little out of your depth when you're shooting for hot takes in the moment. I've seen so many misses. At one point, I admittedly have referred to American Redact as having categorically bad taste, which is mean, but I stand behind it. I would love to be proven wrong. Not like he's ever going to hear this. We're on two entirely different scales, but like, he is one of the... He's either a symptom... I think he's more of a symptom of the dying genre versus like him causing it. I don't think that I think he got to this scene that like Red Bar started, and then Beige Frequency and Porcelain started doing the like comedy-based like documentaries, and then Cringe, Podcast Cringe, Pop kind of. It's like roughly, loosely, that's while missing out on a lot of the big players, Too Lazy to Try, who I left out of that entirely because he does something entirely different. There's some crossover. He covered the Akash thing, but like he also covers kind of like alpha male guys, so the fresh and fit beef with Akash, like it fits into Too Lazy genre versus Redact, who's just reaching, dude. Like genuinely, like I cringe so hard for a lot of it. I'm not saying he's always wrong. I'm just saying if it's down to us relying on American Redact having like a hot take that's definitely going to hold up to the test of time, I would love to see a case where that's proven to be a positive thing. It's only ever just tanked in what I've experienced in Redact's work. I am so sure he'll come up again. But anyway, let's get back to this special.
Sky high prices are everywhere.
Fuck you, Ryan Long. This genuinely is going to cost you precious Eeks points, sir. This is crazy. It's a crazy amount of ads. I'm charged up thinking about fucking Podcast Cringe.
I think the best thing the dudes did...
Who's missing by... Not even missing. Literally, Comedy Enforcement is missing. But Podcast Cringe is just like... He's gone behind his paywall. He was already kind of an echo chamber guy. Very intelligent, educated... lawyer guy. So when he's talking about like lawsuits and stuff, it's very, very in his bubble of expertise. It's not like no comparison. If you take Podcast Cringe and compare it to the amount I enjoy that versus like American Redact. Yes, I'll yell at my phone while cringe is on. I'm like, what? Like, that is so clearly a fucking joke, dude. Or really another fucking Bert Kreischer video? Great. Ooh, I wonder what they're gonna say. His laugh is so annoying. He's such a narcissist. He took that one picture of him crying. The one, like, yeah, the guy's cringe, but at what point, what's the Obi-Wan quote? Who's the greater fool? The fool or the fool who follows him? It's like, that's... Anyway, so Podcast Cringe is, like, kind of started the whole swill machine and now has just gone behind his paywall where he has his echo chamber of people being like, your takes, oh, this is fantastic. It doesn't bode well for the genre of comedy commentary. And honestly, it's not, as I was saying, it's these people and their content, it's really more of a symptom of a greater disease than, like, they caused it. Because, again, we flew so high. 2024 was crazy. I'm, like, getting into it, like, you know, everyone was very aware of, like, you know, 2022 and 2023, everyone became more and more aware of, there was the red bar surge, and, like, everyone, you know, the red bar is watching era, and then we watched, you know, in those years, that was when Kill Tony really started to pop off down in Austin, and the Austin scene's getting big, and then fucking, you know, the presidents on JRE and Theo, and they're affecting the actual election results. It's like, what a crazy high that you'll never be able to hit again. And I think a lot of the popularity of those comedy commentary channels is going to continue to nosedive just because it can't possibly be that interesting. And I think that's what we're seeing in, like, Redact's take on, like, isn't this the beef between Bobby Lee and Shane Gillis? It's like, yeah, I mean, there's bad blood because Shane wrote a character for him where he had to do, like, Asian accent, and Bobby turned down the role, and now the show's huge. But to play it off as anything more than, like, professional, like, mild professional bump, it is reaching, as I said, and as you vehemently denied, and it is a testament to how we're never going to be as interesting. Nothing in this genre is ever going to be as interesting as it was a year ago, a year and a half ago even.
Politically, though, was convincing activist chick.
We'll go back.
The best thing that dudes did politically, though, was convincing activist chicks, if you really care about the cause, you should pull your tits out of the rally. Good work, fellas. We're like, pull the tits out. And they're like, we don't want to. We're like, someone doesn't care about Palestine. As much as she claims to on the internet. Remember they used to have Girls Gone Wild? I feel like new Girls Gone Wild as they go to college.
Again, not to remark on the material at all, but transition-wise, like, dude did his homework. They're all laced together pretty tightly, like, in a pretty cohesive way.
College campuses, and they're like, ladies, pull your tits out. They're like, we don't want to. They go, they're fracking over there. They go, what the hell?
The thing is like, it's going to be weird because this is such a Gatling gun of hot button issues, which seems to be kind of his style. But just, you know, subject. It's, I don't know that he's going to be able to do many callbacks because there hasn't been anything that he's really focused so heavily on that we'll remember it well into the third act. Or, like, I don't know how he's going to be able to pull that, like, tie it all together moment. And maybe he won't. The special's been enjoyable so far, regardless. But again, it's got such a high frequency of fire, high rate of fire. It's my Gatling gun. It's pretty good. It's got such a high rate of fire, subject to subject, and even though these transitions are pretty elegant, I don't know how he's going to be able to refer to anything else he talked about because it's just kind of been an anti-missile flare of just all these hot button issues from 2024 and the adjacent years. But yeah, pretty good so far.
Ladies, they're getting rid of maternity leave in Arkansas. vegan saw. They go, not if we can help it. And I saw.
Oh, I will say this though, we are back to titties, which actually continues to contribute to this being a through line, because yeah, we're back on the subject. Really one of the dominant themes of the special.
So. I feel like vegans are the most hated activist group. Vegans get so much shit. People will be like, fuck you, you're like the pedophile. They're like, behind him, there's a vegan.
Get weirdly dated, I guess. Yeah, sure. Like, I'm a meat eater. This is like a 2010 thing.
Not well done.
These vegans, am I right?
Liked.
I guess at one point you may have been.
And some of their stuff isn't even that crazy. They're like, we shouldn't boil lobsters alive, and we're like, we're boiling them.
That's actually fair. There was a recent study done where they discovered that crustaceans can feel like way more pain than we thought. So it used to be considered humane to just boil them alive. We recently found out that they have the nerves. They feel the whole thing. Not a pretty truth, but one you should consider.
You're like, why? It tastes 1% better. I have a friend who's a chef, and he goes, well, the lobster can't really feel it. You look at the pan, the lobster's like, ah! That one can feel it a little bit.
Again, I don't even know if the study had come out by the time this special was released. Probably right around then. But it's like kind of huge. Because people, that is the excuse people always use, was like, they can't feel it. It's like they get past a point and they blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, they can. Maybe Ryan Long was reading the same headlines I was, or just on a hot streak of hot takes.
My favorite is just like the no accountability activism, though. Like, so I don't know if you guys know the girls from Playboy, they have like this podcast where they drop these truth bombs, and they'll be like, you guys might not realize this, but Hugh Hefner was a misogynist. And you're like, what the?
He like dropped his mic and was like, what the fuck? Again, very physical comedy, so I want to share. Yeah, I feel like the TV could work really well right here. You wouldn't be able to see it super well, but at least then you'd be able to, see the vague shapes. I think it's like a 360p or something. I'm half kidding. It's maybe 720.
How long did you work there? 35 years. I guess a little bit girls can kind of talk shit about dudes on the internet and get us in trouble, but maybe that's payback for we used to call girls witches, just have you burned at the stake, The good old... No, I'm just... And by the way, that would be the worst time to be a girl, because girls love witch stuff, right? Crystals, astrology, potions, candles, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Twilight, brooms. It's like all of your favorite things.
It was a weird list. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's like 4 years older than me, so I guess I could see it was okay. Because, yeah, it was sort of passe by the time I was up and around.
They love it. Like, what's your astrology sign? You'd be dead for knowing that back in the day.
Funny.
Back in the day, a girl would be on a date like, oh, I should tell you the moon's actually in retrograde. And we'd be like, oh, crazy. You should actually tell the judge, bitch, because your burning starts at dusk. A terrible time to be in.
Another good example of like a funny concept. I think it maybe didn't quite make the cut as a sketch, so it got thrown in the act.
Which?
Just because, like, that's so weirdly specific.
Crystals are my favorite. There was a girl on tour, she was selling crystals, and she goes, these are finance crystals, they make you rich. And we're like, crazy, well, you actually have a whole bucket of them, and your job is right now selling rocks. So, are you kind of just not using them, sort of thing?
That is funny.
It's like a homeless guy under a bridge, like, this is my owning a duplex crystals. Why don't you own one? Can't get high on your own supply, brother. That's the first rule of crystals. I don't know if you guys remember, but Tom Brady, when he won the Super Bowl, his wife Giselle at the time said one of the reasons he won is because she has these protection crystals to keep him safe. To the point where he was doing interviews being like, when I won the Super Bowl, oh, I'm so sorry, babe, when we won the Super Bowl, and I feel like girls say they believe in protection crystals, but if a guy was like, listen, I don't have a condom, but the good news, I have this protection crystal.
I feel like this is weird because it's such a specific type of girl that's into this stuff. Not a type of person that I'm unfamiliar with. Like, I know a lot, but, like, not the majority of people that I know. Like, this applies, especially living over in Oregon. It apply. Maybe that's it. Maybe I was in more of, like, a, you know, leftern leaning area. And he's in New York, of course, so maybe it's just, like, way more common there. Again, I grew up with, you know, sort of alternative beliefs I was raised with by the traditional standard. And even then, it's not, like, super common. Like, how many friends do you have that are very, like, how many, you know, chick friends do you have that are very into crystals? Like, I've known a few, but it's not like, oh, girls love crystals and they all believe in their magical powers. I mean, I do, but...
I won't be able to walk you home, but I put a protection crystal in your purse. And you are going to want that, because some of the neighborhood guys also do crystal. So, you're going to want that. And then Tom Brady's wife, she lost all her money in crypto, too. And it was like, ladies, you don't get to be into girl crystals and guy crystals, you know what I mean? That's our crystal. Every guy puts 30% of his money in crypto, loses it, and that's how we close the wage gap. You're welcome.
I'm missing something there. I don't see the connection, but we're only about halfway through this. Should probably jump around a little more than I am.
Solve everything.
These ads, they're not helping that brevity for sure. Oh, weird, because they're all, like, short and skippable, most of them, but it's like, I don't... So does he even get paid for that? Like... Bitch move, Ryan.
Any crypto dudes here? Anyone lose money in crypto here? We're back a little bit though, right, boys?
All right, I'll say this, because I was giving Podcast Cringe some pretty heavy shit talking about, like, going behind the paywall into his echo chamber. But realistically, he did the model to a T. You know, build your audience, putting out free things just on YouTube and your main feed, build an audience, and then start ushering them over into this more exclusive club, and then slowly transition your way into making your content paid. I'm a bitter, broke fuck. Like, so that's, keep in mind my perspective on the whole thing, but, like, I think Ryan's kind of fucking up here because he has so many views. I imagine I'm not alone in being like, fuck you for all of these ads. Like, you get what now? Just, again, for how much money realistically are you even making from me watching all of those ads? It's like, I feel like long term, you're really more investing in, like, people's enjoyment, being able to walk away being like, it was cool of him to let me watch his special without riddling it with ads. Like, that's the kind of artist I want to support. Because you know his bitch ass has a Patreon. I don't know. It just seems greedy, and it is as a potential fan in the making. I don't think that's gonna happen, but theoretically, that's, you know, what I represent here. It's like, that's a turnoff for me. It's like, all right, well, even if I do pay other people for their Patreon money someday, like, I won't be doing it for Mr. Long. He's gotten his pennies off of me. These just relentless battering of ads. He just took that scale and went all the way up every 2 minutes.
I feel like every guy's primed to just lose money on crypto and gambling. You know, like even fairy tales girls get versus guys. Girl fairy tales like Little Red Riding Hood, trust this wolf, and the moral of the story is don't trust strangers. Dude fairy tales, Jack and the Beanstalk. That is a cryptocurrency fairy tale. Jack's gonna put his money into this magic bean, but all the haters tell him not to. But Jack's not a pussy, so Jack don't listen to the FUD, and he apes the fuck in. And that Beanstalk goes to the moon. What's up, you trying to be Jack, or are you trying to be the bean, bitch? Like, I'm Jack, I'm not a bean. That's dude fairy tales. But I feel like no dudes care if a girl was a witch. We'll kind of smash anything, you know? This is how much dudes don't care. There was an entire era of dating where girls were shaving off their eyebrows, then drawing on new eyebrows. You remember? And no guy liked it, but we still all went on dates with you like nothing out of the ordinary here. Just on a date with Mrs. Potato Head currently. Can you imagine before a date, if I shaved off my beard, then drew on a new one with Sharpie? Just showing up some zigzags. Fuck it, I'm a Middle Eastern DJ tonight. Let's go. Let's go.
Would be kind of cool though. Get some fucking mutton chops.
Not a chance. We can't even wear a toupee without it being weird, but girls can wear 2 eyelash toupees, and that's acceptable. I remember the first time I saw a girl's eyelash on my pillow, and you're just like, what just happened? Either this woman is dying, or I just fucked her eyelash off. It's one of the two. Hey, either she's sick or I'm sick. It's one of the two.
Do one of these. She's sick or I'm sick.
We're kind of tricked so easily, though. I feel like it bothers normal girls sometimes, because girls can have fake tits, eyebrows, and hair, and every dude's just, like, nice and natural. And normal girls are like, you can't tell, it's all fake. And we're like, shut up, no lips. That's...
Another fucking ad. All right. I'm going to call out the time code when we get back, because this is genuinely getting crazy. So it's at 36:40.
Looks like now.
36:40, that ad played. Let's see how long it is on the timeline before the next ad.
The Kardashians made a few updates. And one of the greatest marketing moves in history, kind of, right? Kardashians are like, remember supermodels? Now it's going to be a little short troll. Looks like her face was stung by all the bees. And it worked. Because they got black guys on board. That's how you change culture. Not even in a weird way. Black guys were like, we think the Kardashians are hot. And white guys were like, I think that too now.
So that's funny. A long special. I don't know. I think this is, in a third act structure, this is maybe a second act kind of lull. I'm hoping, because it's not unfunny. It's, he's kind of bringing it back down so he can build that energy back up and, really close it out hard. But he just, in this last, 2 or 3 minutes, really feeling the slog of, Act 2.
Black guys can be like, we're doing shoes on the wrong feet, and white guys are like, if that's the deal, that's the deal. I'm not here to argue with basketball players and rappers about what's hot. We just get tricked. That's probably happening in every culture of the world, too. There's probably some tribe in Africa where the girls have all the long necks with the rings, and all the African bros are like, yo, you see the fucking neck on...
It's so old. Oh, because we're clicking. It's Swahili. I think the last time that was funny was Ace Ventura, Pet Detective 2, When Nature Calls. He's just emoting.
All their wives are like, you can see the rings, you idiots. And they're like, no one's talking to you, no-necked bitches. We're looking at necks right now. Like God intended.
Yeah, we are vaguely, so we're next door to titties again. So, an interesting through line, but a through line nonetheless.
We're gonna talk about race now. Deal with it, white boy.
Oh boy.
I'm allowed to do race jokes because I'm actually half Irish, the true slaves, so it's fine. Irish people love telling people they were oppressed and no one gives a fuck. Irish people will be like, well, we were slaves, and everyone's like, you should tell that to people. Finding out Irish people might have been slaves is kind of like finding a counterfeit bill where you're like, woo, think I can use this for something? And people are like, you can try.
Yeah, you can go back and be shitty to the British. It's like, by that logic, like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Yeah, you've got a race card in the United Kingdom.
But there were certain things. When Irish people first moved to America, they couldn't get jobs because there were big signs that said no drinking on the job. And we know
Irish people drink.
that disproportionately affected, right?
It's funny because I get this where, like, I also have Irish American heritage and not a name that necessarily reflects that to every person, you know, and it's not like, you know, Mick Eeks, if you will. He's Ryan Long. I guess, I don't know, doing Italian American comedy, Irish American comedy, Greek American, the whole, like, I don't know, because I don't think he's got, like, I guess he is an immigrant, to be fair. He's from Canada. Never mind.
That would be like if they said anyone's allowed to be an Uber driver, but you're not allowed to talk to your wife in Arabic during the ride. We know who that's about. Is she supposed to raw dog the ride?
For the modern woman who...
Okay, so there's another ad. So when we get back, we're going to check. I think it's been 39:29. So it has been less than 3 minutes.
I feel like Italians are the most pumped of their ethnicity out of white people. You know what? Is there any Italians here?
It's truly exhausting.
Stoked, right? I feel like Italian dudes do it.
Of all people, you'd think that he'd be able to sympathize with, and maybe I'm projecting in this case, but someone whose attention has a hard time spanning ad breaks every 3 minutes. Okay, right. What the fuck were you talking about? Trans people or boobies or you did what?
A DNA test every morning just to be like, fuck yes. They love crosses. Italians love crosses and then doing none of the Catholic stuff. Isn't that kind of crazy?
It's like an 1860s joke. Would have killed at the 5 points.
That the one job women will never be able to be is a Catholic.
Each of these fingers makes a fist.
Like confessional priest. It's kind of crazy, right? Because women priests would solve one of the church's pesky problems, right? I know. Yeah, but it'll never happen. They'll never be able to be a confessional priest, and the reason is apparently because even God knew that no woman can handle that level of gossip. So.
This is again very much on brand for him, but this weirdly specific, like...
You can't have your confessional priest saying, do tell! And then what happened? Is my priest texting right now? I think actually religion could solve some of the world's problems, but you guys aren't gonna like it. But people talk about global warming. This is how religion would solve that. There's 1 billion Muslims right now, and they pray 5 times a day. So on the last pray, they should all agree just to blow on the earth to cool it down a bit, like 5 times a day. I knew you weren't gonna like it. Listen, it's fine.
This is screaming filler to me because we're at the whole thing is 1 hour and 24 seconds, which I thought was a little strange at first too, because an hour-long special is usually the goal. So the fact that it's pinned directly to it means that it is incredibly elegantly written and refined, or there's a little bit of filler in there. 2 minutes, you know, because he riffs very well, you know, he tags his jokes very well, so, you know, not a lot of this has been stretching, but this right here smacks to me of filler in a big way. Like, they'll blow on the earth to, like, cool it off. I don't know.
5 times a day. I knew you weren't gonna like it. Listen, it's fine.
Yeah, I think this came out to like 57 minutes or so, and he was like, well, gotta be an hour. And threw that little gem in there, because it's, what?
Racists are thinking the spicy curry breath is gonna make the earth hotter. That's what racists were thinking. Fine. Option 2, the Jews that control the weather just turn it down a bit. So, that's the second option.
Austin bingo card loses another box.
Yeah. And whoever solves it first gets to keep Israel. Hey. I'm not going to apologize for solving both of Greta Thunberg's problems in one joke.
See, even that, like, flat tire Thunberg, Greta Thunberg, it's like this is filler. Newer stuff that he threw in there, because it's kind of on brandish, but it's very clearly less rehearsed. It's not nearly as well polished. It's, I mean, down to the mispronouncing of Greta Thunberg's name, Thunberg. It's like a typo.
Apologize for solving both of Greta Thunberg's problems in one joke.
On the regs, they call that a flat tire.
Do you guys think the first guy to put his wife in a burqa, she was just gross? Do you think
Did we talk about race? What, wasn't he gonna do that like 2 minutes ago? Wasn't that like, oh, we're gonna talk about race now?
there's a possibility? He's like, what if we cover him up? Do you think it's possible? Okay.
Another fucking ad, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy. Honestly, it's honestly not even crazy. It's just typical and disappointing. 42:17. So again, not even 3 minutes. Every 3 minutes or so. Literally every less than 3 minutes, there is a fucking ad. And most of them are skippable, but like, it's still, why?
As an immigrant,
See, I called it.
I actually think the hardest immigrant to be would be like Indian or Asian or something, because a lot of time their dads will be like, son, you can only date an Indian girl. It's like, well then dad, why'd you move me away from where they all are? It's kind of a crazy thing to tell a teenage boy, right? 90% of the pussy's off the market. Get out there. Cock blocking him a little. I dated a girl like that when I lived in Toronto, Canada. Her dad wanted her to date an Indian doctor, and this guy was not pumped when she started dating a white comedian. And he didn't want to listen when I tried to explain to him that laughter is medicine. So, if you think about it, I'm a bit of a practitioner myself. And he was like, no, get out of here and take all these goats. We don't even do that. Yeah, I know. So this racist said to me, we have a super multicultural family in Toronto. I have a lot of half black and half Indian cousins, which is like a cool family. But one Christmas, we wanted to go to a movie, and the only thing playing was Django Unchained. It's like awkward, right? Because we're all cheering at different parts. And
It's funny.
I'm cheering at the credits. That's awkward, right? The only thing I can think of is more awkward is if you went to that movie and there was a black guy sitting in your seat and then you had to ask him to move. Can you imagine mid-whipping scene?
This is vaguely the same sentiment. I don't think that it's like stolen or anything, but this is the same sentiment for Ian Edwards' joke about going to the history of African American History Museum or whatever, where he's like, I had to wait in line behind white people, and then I was like, hey, wait a minute. It's like the same, just on the other side of the glass.
You had to come in? All right, C-43. Ooh. Ah, ha, ha. Think you might be in the back of the theater there, pal. Because that's the most thing you don't get called as a white dude's racist. If someone's like, this is a racist murderer, you're like, I'm just a murderer. There was a dude in Atlanta that shot up all these Asian rub and tug parlors, and in the courtroom they were calling him racist, and that guy stood up and he was like, I'm not racist, I promise, I just hate whores. Even that guy. He's gonna be going to the electric chair, like some of my best friends are Asian. Well, what do you guys think? Should you treat people of different races the same or different? What do you specifically?
Okay, we're 15 minutes left in the special. I'm hoping he's gearing up here. Hopefully from here on out he's going to start hitting that gas pedal. Because as you've heard me talk about before, I think it's like when you're writing a set list, when you're in a band or you're a musician, you write your set list in such a way that it keeps the audience's attention without necessarily exhausting them. Or even if you're playing very like very punk the whole time, there's still some variation and you stack it accordingly. Or an album. If you listen to an album, they are very meticulously put together to maximize retention in essence. But it's also like there's an art to it. And I think a comedy special is very similar in that way. And where they're fucking up is we're getting to track 8 or 9 on this CD, and he's kind of still playing that middle of the road. It's like you gotta shake it up. Like track 7's gotta be a banger. Tracks 8 and 9, sure, like you've got some wiggle room there, but tracks 10 through 13, they gotta be fire. And I don't know if he's got it in the tank. I hope he does. Let's find out. Because I would love to walk away from this special with as high of an opinion as I had of it before realizing that he's the one that did all these ads to us. So maybe he can redeem himself in this last 15 minutes. Let's find out. You can hear it in my voice, like it's just been kind of an exhausting ride. 25% of that has been the ads I've had to like vamp over.
Why don't you guys want to answer? Well, it's because the answer is different, but I can understand why you don't want to yell it. Like, I'll never tell a black guy he looks like another guy. The stakes are way too high.
Funny.
The black guy to me could be like, you look like Jonah Hill. I'll be like, I've actually been told that. Yeah.
Okay. It'll be interesting to hear his take on, racial commentary, double standards.
Even there's just little things. Like if I was dating a girl from Australia and I was like, oh, let me make her feel comfortable by putting on Australian music, Cat Empire, some shit like that. Yeah. Nothing weird about that. Everyone feels
No one knows who the fuck Cat Empire is.
normal, but if I'm dating an Indian girl, I can't bring her home, put on some candles, and put on. It gets weird.
I think he would have gotten a bigger pop with the ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. It's a very popular joke regarding Indian music.
But it's got a one-way thing, because I would love
You hear it a lot.
if a girl in America tried to make me feel comfortable, took me home and set some candles up and made me feel comfortable with music of my culture, put on, it's been 1 week since you looked at me. I would love that. Shook it to China. I would love that. If a girl made me feel comfortable by putting on Just Out for a Rip, Are We, Bud? I would love that.
Another ad.
I hand off.
I think there was a Letterkenny reference there. Not a popular opinion, but very one note. That pony tends to be. I haven't seen all of it. I think I've seen a lot of it. It kind of blurs together. I also was raised in a farm town for a big part of my childhood, so maybe it's not like that funny to me because I like know the American version of those guys.
Just Out for a Rip? That's the only song.
Like, it's not even satire. Like, there's a degree of satire to it. But it largely is just them, just like, look how very Canadian and very farmer we are. Doesn't surprise me that Ryan Long is a fan of it. Like, it's, they go hard. Canadian comedians have each other's backs in a big way. I don't know. It's not that those people are unfunny. I'm just not a fan of the show Letterkenny. Call me happy.
That's a smashing anthem. Classic. People are watching wondering what that is. Google it. Shit.
Kind of tripped. Almost fell over. Oh, look at that again. That was weird.
People are watching wondering what that is. Google it. Shit.
We went to sit down and there was no stool there. Really funny. See, that's funny either way. Either it was intentional and that's like well done, a little slapstick, or it was accidental and that's a little funnier.
To be honest, I'm actually not really like one of those comedians that's like, you can't say anything anymore. Like, you kind of can. Like, you can do it. I mean, I'll bleep it on YouTube, but here...
He said the F word, he said the F slur. The Austinitism, bingo sheet.
The trick is don't have a job. That is the first trick, and a microphone does help. That's another thing. Because I had a guy come up to me after a show, and he was like, dude, it's messed up. You can't say anything. I got fired from my job for making fat jokes just like you were doing. And I go, what do you do for a living? And he goes, I'm a waiter. I go, little different, though, no? I don't know if waiters should be making fat jokes.
Interesting point you didn't really hear many people make. It's just an elaboration on the whole it's cool I'm a comedian point, which like kind of got lambasted over the years, but it is ultimately, in my opinion, very true, where it's like, all right, well, was this comedian on a stage with a microphone? Was it in a joke structure? Like, I'm not saying that people aren't allowed to be offended by it, but that makes it very clearly and definably a joke. But I think it's interesting to hear, because that mentality, the truth behind that thought, they're like, well, comedians, it was a joke, so it's not racist or sexist or whatever. The truth behind that mentality encouraged a lot of people who have no business making jokes, literal business, like this waiter he's talking about. You don't hear it brought up that like, yeah, but that doesn't really apply to you. I was having a conversation with a college professor who was talking about how he wasn't allowed to bring up like trans things and how like someone that he was working with had been fired. And, you know, isn't that messed up? Like, I can't say this. And I was like, if because of your job you were forced to talk about this subject and you introduced what you believed to be true facts and then you were fired, sure, that would be fucked up. But like, you teach socioeconomics or whatever, like it shouldn't come up for you. It's just not your area of study or expertise. Or in the case of making jokes, it's like you're not like a comedian, so like, yeah, you have the right to do it. You're not going to go to jail for it, but also like culturally, people are allowed to hate you for what you said. And there's a little bit of room for exception there with comedians, even though they historically have gotten a lot of shit, especially in the last 10 years. It's just interesting to hear him elaborating on that point a little.
Going up to a table, eating for four tonight, aren't we, ladies? Oh, what? I can't make a joke? Like, I might be on your boss's side, to be honest. And I think things have kind of got more normal in the last little bit, but I do still find super overly empowering narratives very funny. Like, there's this show on Netflix called In the Dark. Do you guys know the show? So it's about this girl. She's a blind alcoholic detective, right? Sorry, blind alcoholic sex addict detective. And there's a scene, it's honestly a pretty good show, but there's a scene in the show where a friend goes, "You'll never solve the case," and she goes, "What?"
I have a suspicion that he's just describing like an underdog story. I think maybe he's just viewing it through this lens, because like that's always how you like build a show. Like, oh yeah, this is a serial killer who works on crime scenes but has to kill to serve as dark passenger. You know, like, I guess I get where he's coming from a little bit, that that's stacking up a lot of victim cards, but he might just be describing building a protagonist.
Blind alcoholic sex addict detective. And there's a scene, it's honestly a pretty good show, but there's a scene in the show where a friend goes, "You'll never solve the case," and she goes, "Why? Because I'm blind?" And her friend goes, "No, it's because you didn't go to school for that." And you're like, also because you're blind. Like, I don't even know what the lesson to be learned there is. Like, you're supposed to watch that and be like, I can't believe I used to think blind people couldn't be detectives. Now that I'm educated, I hope my cab driver's blind. I want Helen Keller picking me up, now that I know.
He's looking so pretty. It's just so, he's got so much eye makeup on. He looks fantastic. He looks ready for prom.
And I get it, it's like Hollywood stuff, but you could be the most Hollywood person in the world, but if your own daughter went missing and the detective showed up like, "What's up, I'm the detective on the case here."
He's using the mic stand as kind of a blind cane. Again, pretty funny physical comedy. Good job.
We only got 24 hours to solve this bad boy, so... Do you mind if I feel your face? I just want to get a bit of a read of what she might look like. Also, I'm drunk. Did I mention a lot of White Claws today? I got into it.
Right, like, yeah, okay. And this isn't a Monopoly Guy joke, because he didn't make up the character. Inherently makes this at least more clever. But I think that... what he's doing is just describing, like, what makes this a show. Like, wow, wouldn't that be crazy if your detective showed up with a cane and was like, "I'm drunk and a sex addict." It's like, how crazy. It's like you're retelling what their joke was, or their whole point was. It's like, that's why it's a TV show, because she has all these crazy things. Wouldn't that be wild? It's like, you're not making up a joke about this thing. You're just restating what makes it a show in the first place. Like, okay, there's this ring, right? And if evil gets a hold of it, evil will take over the whole world. And do you know who they give it to? a hapless little hobbit. How's a hobbit gonna pull this off? It's like, exactly, it's the fucking story. That's why it's a story, because this guy's a barefoot little half person who's like, likes to get drunk and smoke Middle Earth weed. Like, that's the reason it's a story, is because it's such a crazy character doing this thing that's so wildly out of their usual realm of assumed capacity. Just like the blind detective here. Again, he's not making up a joke. He's just restating how this person is a protagonist for this offbeat show. Probably a comedy, which people that take comedy too seriously really bother me.
I'm on a White Claws today. I got into it. Can I suck you off? I'm a sex addict too. Did I mention? You're like, is there some sort of problem?
Like, this is just the elevator pitch.
And you're like, well, we're just behind you. And you're like, oh, 'cause I'm
There's a balloon animal of the elevator pitch, but the substance behind it all is like, yeah, exactly, Ryan. It's a fucking TV.
like I'm crazy for saying maybe every person shouldn't have every single job. Listen, if I hire a roofer and he shows up in a wheelchair, I'm not gonna be pumped. I apologize. Just wheeling in like, I'm actually amazing at what I do. You just gotta get me up there. If you got a pulley system, I will work magic on those shingles.
And that's a ridiculous concept. That's the same kind of ridiculousness that would allow for that to be like a show or a sketch on SNL or something. Like, I don't. Okay. Was the point of him bringing up that show, like, isn't that show a ridiculous thing? That shouldn't be how it is. Like, I keep making this point, but exactly, Ryan.
So some jobs are just a little weird. You know, girl mover's a little weird. Blind detective.
Girl mover, that's a callback.
Male gynecologist. We know what you're up to, pal.
Maybe this was on the ad for it, because that's very familiar to me.
They're mostly females now, so if you're a male gyno now, you gotta want it, you know? Is there any women here that went with a male gyno, even though most of them are females now? Yeah, why'd you go with male gyno? Is that what he told you? They're all male? It's either me or you die.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. I had to have been on the commercial for it.
You're like, what about that one? It's just me. What do you mean they're all male? Oh, here they still got like a foothold. Okay, clap with you. The males are still holding it down here.
Where's here? In the description, it's just a bunch of his stand-up comedy dates that are no longer fucking relevant, because guess what? It's the next year now, Ryan. You kind of wasted a lot of space here. I'd be curious to know where this was shot. Doesn't say anything. At Ryan Long Comedy on everything, but he has it all listed out, just in case. So you know he has a TikTok for those sketches.
The male gyno unions, like, these are our pussies, and we will not let these females are gonna stay in our holes. Do you like the male gyno better than the female gynos? He's more gentle? What are the female gynos doing? Is it like a female cop situation where they got something to prove?
Interesting. I gotta wonder, because this is so late in the game and he's relying so heavily on this crowd work, I wonder if he's just like flexing that he's good at it, or if that was, again, if it was a plant. I don't know. I can't really clock it, because what I think it is probably some crowd work that he has practiced before. Because a lot of this stuff you could sort of plug and play for really any crowd to respond. Because almost It's like I think there was one person in the crowd who like corroborated when he was like, "You ever had a male gynecologist, ladies?" And no one said anything. And he like he like points to one specific person who's like, "You did, huh?" And that's the one who responded. You know, "Oh, they're all male," or whatever. Then everyone else kind of jumps into it. So I wonder if that's like someone he knows or something. Like maybe it's not a direct plant, not so insidious or insidious or whatever, but maybe it's just someone that like he kind of like knew he could throw that could throw him a lifeline if need be, because he knew he was filming this. But yeah, he's doing a whole physical act out thing, and if this is improvised, like he's got a disorder. That's crazy.
Male guy that's gentle though.
For the rule of threes of it all, he has kind of an Ace Ventura, Jim Carrey type thing going on as far as his facial. You know, he manipulates his face quite effectively to help really drive home some of these drier bits, or like really help deliver on his physical comedy, which is probably a lesson people can take away. Just like you sell a lot of what you're doing through your face. He's proving that.
Mood does it smooth. Play some Usher
Take my word for it.
beforehand. 7 o'clock on the dot.
Of course, we have an ad. We're down to the final 8 minutes of this thing, so let's power on through, shall we? Weird to do such highly involved crowd work here, but this does actually reinforce my point about a little bit of filler. Got a little bit of filler in there. I think there's probably been a total of around, like, depending on how long this goes, all in all, it'll be about 5-6 minutes, which does aesthetically look very different when it's like, oh, it's a 54-minute special, or it's like, no, it's 1 hour and 24 seconds on the dot, baby. I think he is stretching maybe a little bit here. It does seem, but again, it seems like crowd work that he's practiced before. Because some of this stuff, there's no way he's riffing it. Just going off of the other times I've seen him riffing in this. He's funny, but like this stuff is like polished, like physical work. Or he's some kind of genius, I don't know. He's doing like a fingers in his mouth thing.
This is male gyno town.
See what I mean? Like very, very like polished for crowd work, which I think may be a sin. I don't even describe to you the stuff that he's like physically acting out. It's kind of a tough watch, but again, looking at it with objectivity, he's a hell of a physical performer. I don't like what he's doing right now, but he is good at it.
This one's on the house.
Ooh, a little feedback there. A little feedback, Ryan. Just nailed that take so hard, you went with it anyway. Gross.
This one's on the house.
Talk about a sin. Feedback's like what they use in shows to demonstrate, like, oh, this is an amateur band. This band sucks. Feedback is a terrible feeling when you're on stage.
All I'm saying is,
I mean, like, when it gets really loud and overpowering, that's one thing. Like, yeah, something fucked up. But just, like, the moment of silence, it's like, this is the fastest way to turn off a crowd that has any kind of taste.
someone always takes advantage. You don't think there's one abortion doctor that got into the game just because he really fucking hates babies? He was gonna be a normal doctor, then he was on a plane with a baby that wouldn't shut. If you don't mind, I'm trying to do my doctor work.
Another funny sketch premise. Doesn't quite translate to stand up.
He lands the plane, this ends today.
I Like that's got YouTube short sketch or TikTok sketch written all over it, probably.
Or one doctor that does the transgender dick cutting off surgeries that the chick just hates men, you know? If there was a girl that's like, I hate men, I want to cut their dicks off, and you're like, you are not going to believe what I'm about to tell you is a job. Just showing up with 2 katanas, cling, cling. When you love what you do, never work a day in your life.
Again, being very physical, doing all that, which I think I can kind of already tell is what's driving home this very warm reception this crowd's having, because he's a funny guy to watch.
Wearing the dicks on a necklace like a warlord. Come on! Come on!
Wasn't that like This Is the End or something? Didn't they have that? The warlord guy with the dicks on the necklace, isn't that a thing?
So that's weird. Male kindergarten teacher. A little strange, right? Normal. Male kindergarten teacher. Normal. Although, there was a lot of female teachers these days having sex with their, like, 13-year-old male students.
Weird. Again, so weirdly dated. Not even... Okay, so remember, there are some jokes that could be grandfathered into a special. You know, because they've been doing it a while. That's like I talked about before. This is not one of those premises. This is not one of those things that's like, oh, yeah, that's crazy. Like, this was crazy 20 years ago. 15 years ago. Like, that, yeah, even 10 years ago, this would have been hack. Like...
Which is,
oh yeah, why wasn't I one of the kids? It's just as hack as being like, yeah, this kid I knew got molested by a priest and I was offended. Like, why not me?
prove what I've been saying forever, that 13-year-old boys are irresistible.
Funny.
Stop making them so hot. Problem solved.
So stupid.
I should have asked. You guys a pedophile crowd, not a pedophile crowd? Who here's on the flight logs? I know, no one likes when you make fun of their group. I know, but... It is weird, though, that they have, like, barely legal porn still, you know? Too many pedophile jokes? Okay, you're right, I'll move on. So this is a relationship joke, I'm moving on. So a friend of mine, he's actually in a big fight with his girl right now because she was on her period, and I guess for girls, your first period's like a big deal. And...
This is like, this has like drunk Gen Xer vibes to it, where they're like, oh, you want to hear some offensive jokes? I have one. And frankly, did not see that coming. What do you get when you cross Helen Keller in an 18-wheeler? You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of ramping up in a weird, cringe uncle kind of way.
Okay, that's an anorexia joke, for the record. Okay. I'll make a note. No period jokes. Okay. No period jokes. And for the record, I'll always have sex with a girl when...
Interesting little move he did. So he was talking about how he'll, like, oh, I'll take a note. And he goes over by his stool. And he, like, picks up his phone and acts like he's doing a note. And then he sets it down. Then he picks it back up again. And he, like, clearly, like, hits the home button or whatever. I think he's checking his time. I think he's timing the set. I think he's like, all right, how much vamping do I need to do? Sweet, we got 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. Let's gas it. I really think that's what he just did.
She's on her period, I don't care. But
There's a hot take for you, Redact.
I do always run outside naked after with the blood on my dick, screaming, I just killed my cat. And that's a cat joke. Okay, no cat jokes either.
See what I mean? Like, it's got that whole, like, ooh, he's saying this crazy stuff. It's like Timu Anthony Jeselnik.
I guess I will make note of that. No anorexia jokes, no period jokes, no cat jokes. I guess we'll just do the barely legal porn joke then.
A funny way to structure that joke. I actually really liked that. That was clever. I know I'm not a huge fan of the joke, but the structure, the concept behind the structure was really, really well done. I don't think I've seen that before. To like start a joke, never mind, that's too offensive. Go into a flurry of other subjects that are also, you know, that are more offensive or whatever, and then doubling back. I didn't see it coming. I think that was very clever.
Well, do you know they have barely legal porn? Do you think they have barely legal porn the other way, where the woman's so old she's about to die? And they're like, Mildred, you only have 3 hours to live. Blink if you consent to getting the gang back together for one final gangbang. And then as all the guys are banging her, you're like, is this even legal? And they're like, barely. So it's barely. I'm sorry, I had to tell that joke.
That whole joke felt like a movie that's commercials were funnier than the movie. Very Polly. Polly, the movie about a parrot. I remember seeing the commercials for it as a kid. And on the commercials, they had this like wacky, this is like the 90s, so they had this like wacky Mexican guy or whatever, and he's like, it cuts to him and he goes, I say taco, they say taco. And then these three birds go, taco, taco, taco. And I was really looking forward to that scene, and it was not even in the fucking movie. And I remember being so disappointed by that. I'm thinking about it 20 years later. Like, so it's that whole joke kind of had that feel where it's like, this is going to be funny. Like, it made me laugh when I saw the ad for it or when I recognized the concept for it. And you sit through it and you're like, why didn't they go taco, taco, taco? Fucking ad, dude. God, Ryan Long, you really don't like him. The special's pretty good, but I don't like Ryan Long, I don't think. This was a crazy move.
It is a little unfair, though. You know, if we come quick, we're a bitch. If a girl comes quick, we're both heroes. A little bit. I'm sure every guy's dated a girl where she's like, oh, I have a really hard time coming. And
It feels like he's really stretching for that end zone.
we have to be like, haven't tried this dick. And then we all come back from trying to make a girl come like the American military comes back from spreading democracy. Like, I think it might be a 20-year project.
I have to go back. I kind of zoned out for that. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
I'm sure every guy's dated a girl where she's like, oh, I have a really hard time coming, and we have to be like, haven't tried this dick. And then we all come back from trying to make a girl come like the American military comes back from spreading democracy. Like, I think it might be a 20-year project. Spreading democracy is really hard. And a lot like trying
Oh, he's kind of doing this with his jaw. Better make a Zeta Jones joke.
to make a girl come. You're like, I'm making some targeted strikes in weird regions. I'm not familiar with the geography at all. Lindsey Graham's in the room cheering me on in both situations.
They call it a malaphor when it's like a bad metaphor. Because that's what this is. Like, oh, I'm not familiar with the terrain. Okay.
You're like, I think this is costing me a lot of money.
Why?
I probably won't accomplish my objective.
That was the premise going into this. Right.
The only promise I can make is at the end of this, I will pull out and make a huge mess. That is
A long wind-up for that very, very mid-pun.
a foreign policy cum joke.
Play on words.
That is a foreign policy cum joke.
Foreign policy cum joke. Yeah, sure is.
Never been tried before. And we never gonna try it again.
Does that make me a fucking genius? Like, just because no one ever did it before doesn't mean you're a genius for doing it the first time. I don't think.
Pentagon doesn't.
Maybe it is. Does that make me a fucking genius?
Why you hear that one? Everything's just hotter when a girl does it, you know? Even like if you're having sex and she's gagging, it can be a little hot, you know? But if you're with your girl and you're the one that's like, she's like, are you okay? You're like, mind your business.
Pretty funny.
Not hot there. Dude, a girl could be having a full-on seizure during sex and it'd be hot. She's be like, and guys will just be like, that's what happens when you fuck the king. I need to go to the hospital. Well, I'm not surprised.
I was really hoping he was going to somehow tie in the world politics, you know, the U.S. military thing back into that. It's a nitpick, a little nitpick, but still.
It's just hotter when it's a girl. Like, blood's not hot, but have you ever started a girl's period during sex? Kind of feel like a guy that just struck oil.
Don't do it, Chad Daniels. He's Danielsing. You don't have the time to Daniels, my man. 58, 54 out of a 1 hour, 24 seconds. Like, gross out. I don't know. Whatever. I did a review on Chad Daniels' special on the Critical Eeks YouTube. Go check it out. Please be sure to subscribe and all that. If you're watching it here on YouTube, let me know if it's sideways.
I am the fire starter. Even a bad position, if you're with your...
Even if he was like, I told you it was going to get messy or something. Like, something that connects the two. Because it's just not a very strong...
girl, and she's like, oh, not there, it's too deep. We'd be like, why, thank you. But it's not hot if you're the one there that's like, I don't know, it's too deep right there. Spooky at the back parts.
So stupid, but very funny.
I like to stay in the shallow end. I think I'll just go down on you instead.
I wish I never started.
You did it!
You guys have been amazing. Thank you very much for coming. I very much appreciate you guys. And thank you for
Oh, you did a little callback at the end there. How about that? He pulled it off. Woo! Oh, we've done it. We have done it. He's still talking. He just set the mic down. I don't know. Don't care. So, things we have learned from this special before I go throwing in a critical Eeks score. This is like, I believe, looking back, this will be the pinnacle of Austinitism. Austinism's funnier on the page. Anyway, this is kind of a high water mark for those subjects, and I think their capacity to be approached in a way that's still funny. Credit to Ryan Long. He found a way to make these tired subjects kind of make you like, on some shit that I'm frankly so sick of hearing and would have been sick of hearing a year ago. So factoring in the fact that this came out a year ago, even still, he did a good job of towing the line of like, yes, but this is my take on this old thing. Because most of this subject matter was pretty dated, pretty tired, a little passé. So props to him for subverting expectation in that way. Now that said, because this is a YouTube special, and because it was up to him to put in the amount to decide how many ads were in it, I am going to allow that to affect the score. Because this was your call as a creator. It's your YouTube page. You may have people working for you. You should be working more closely with them if this is someone else's fault. It still boils down to you. And it really, every 3 minutes is crazy. That's insane. So you're either saying, like, be a YouTube subscriber or blah, 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 blah. I mean, even if you used this as a way to like promote your Patreon and be like, there's an ad-free version over there, at least then it would make sense. Like you put thought into it. This just comes off as neglect. Where you're like, oh, money? More money if high? Oh, but then high, look, more money. For me? I like money. So it was a very tasteless choice. Gonna allow it to cost him half a point, which will bring this to a grand total of, drumroll please, 7 out of 10. Which beats the fuck out of his presence on IMDb. Made me laugh. Funny special. Like I said, he conquered the task of going over some shit that I'm so sick of hearing. Didn't feel like hearing it then. Kind of, even having heard it now, I'm like, all right, cool. But it felt, because of that nature, was a lot sloggier. A lot more of like okay, he's going to do a trans joke now. He's going to do a feminism joke. He didn't go into feminism, I don't think, very much, which is surprising. For those people that have that on their Austin bingo card, apologies, better luck next time. Thank you so much for hanging out. I've had a fantastic time. This has been Critical Eeks, and in the meantime, be nice. Little bit of copyright-free music. Gonna get down to this, my outro. And when we go to right, and we go one step down, then we're back to the one. Thank you so much. This has been Critical Eeks. Have a wonderful existence.